Welcome everybody back here to our wonderful Let's Cover Every Pelagic Artist that is releasing through Berlin this year series. And I'm very, very happy for this one. So I'm very happy to have Stefan de Graaf from Psychonaut here on the show. Stefan, thanks for joining once again.
Thank you, man. That's a really good idea for an interview series. Just get every Pelagic, man.
Well, I think this year we're at 80% of every artist that has been releasing through Pelagic. I'm very, very sure. So, of course, we also had to get you. And I've already said it's not Stefan's first time here on the Veil of Sound. For all those who are interested, January 8th, 2023, Stefan was the first regular interview partner here, along with two of the wonderful people from Brutus. So they have been asking each other questions, and it was a real pleasure for me to once in a while sit back, let other people do the talking, and I just do anything I want to but talk. So, Stefan, but I hope you remember that the first thing that we always ask here on the Veil of Sound is what I like to call the plug of the day. So any band or project that you would like to plug and that you are not a member of, I would like to plug one. And I know that this band has been getting a lot of love over the last couple of decades, but in a fair world, this band would be as big as the Foo Fighters or Queens of the Stone Age. I'm talking about Elder.
Yeah, good choice.
This band should be much bigger than they already are.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know their stuff that well, but what I do know is amazing.
I think there is a certain similarity between their warm, fuzzy sound and the new record by you guys. And we'll come to that in a moment. But
awesome.
Do you have a band that you would like to plug?
Well, problem is I'm from Belgium and we have so many great bands, it's hard to pick
maybe
one.
You choose one that is not from Belgium, so not to piss me off.
Oh yeah, that might be a good idea. Yeah. Let's see what it's kind of hard. I have to admit, a lot of the new bands I find out about are Belgian because the country is so small. And there's one band that I've been listening to quite a lot. They just released a new EP, and that's a band called Huracan. Great new EP, also recorded by our engineer and producer Kieran.
Yeah,
and it sounds great. Love their new music. Amazing band. So I would recommend checking out Huracan.
Yeah, also premiered here on our show.
Perfect.
Yeah, can't go any better.
In sync.
Yes, somehow we are. Stefan, something that I would like to start off with is a very simple and also, I think, very difficult question. What is the most important life lesson that you would give your son or that you would tell your son?
The most important one is that nothing really matters as much as you think it does. Nothing is really that important. It's all just a massive playground. Anything is allowed, and don't forget that there's nothing you have to do, and you're perfectly allowed to just do whatever you like.
That's true.
That's one I should try to remember more myself. But
yeah, it's right. We have those nice ideas.
Exactly.
And we
Easier
don't
said than done.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. For everybody who now expect me to give a life lesson, you have to wait till the end of the interview. I have something. I have a slogan that I've been carrying around for, I think, nearly 30 years now, and it still sticks to me as the best answer ever.
Okay.
World Maker, your new record. If I counted correctly, the third full length.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a synesthete, so I don't see sound and I don't hear color. But if I had to associate World Maker, I would choose a very different color for the cover. Because to me, the whole record is a bright autumn orange.
Interesting. I haven't really thought about that, but that's cool.
But can you see why I took a bright color, a very warm color.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's probably the most positive album we've written, even though there's definitely some pain and loss in there as well. But I get what you mean. It was supposed to be that way as well. I wanted an album that was light, that was I guess a bit easier to listen to, not as aggressive, not as angry as the previous one. And yeah, so I feel what you mean. And it was quite difficult actually to find artwork for this one. We tried a few things, a few different collaborations, and eventually
and then you had to go to the old guy cousins again, right?
Yeah, that was funny how the never change a winning team statement is kind of true, I guess. And so Sam, who has done pretty much everything we've ever done since our second EP, did this one as well. And yeah, I really like it. It's simple and mysterious, but I do get what you mean, that the vibe might not be color-wise captured perfectly in that way.
Yeah, but nevertheless, of course. Before anybody asks who Sam is, it's Sam Cousins from Pothamus, who we also had on the show earlier this year because, yeah, still one of the best records that has come out this year.
Yeah, Abur is a crazy album.
I would still say
absolutely perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
Yeah. Let's not only talk about color and schemes, but also about new elements to the sound of Psychonaut. There has been, I think, a little addition on the instrumental side, because if I read it correctly, you're using a tabla.
That's true, yeah.
Is that the only addition? And, of course, how did you come to choose, I think it's an Indian, I know it's a percussion element, and I think it's from India, right?
Yeah, it's... it's a sound that I've always loved, and I don't know anyone who can play it, or I didn't until we found someone who could do it on the album. But just always had that idea in my mind. You know, we use instruments like didgeridoos quite a lot and djembes, which are more African rooted, I guess, and just really wanted to try tablas one day. And one night, came home from a show, couldn't sleep, was way too hyped, started doing stuff and came up with this intro. Couldn't make a lot of sound because my wife was asleep, so I just put on my headphones and took out whichever free plugins I had. And there's this really fun plugin called Indian Dreams, and it has a sitar and a Varuna, I think it's called, and yeah, tablas as well. And after a few hours of messing around with that, I had that idea. And of course, we wanted to do it for real. So we found a guy from the Netherlands who was, I think, half Indian and who also teaches tabla, who came to the studio and recorded the intro for a song called Origins on this tabla. And love it. Yeah, really happy that we found someone. That wasn't as easy as we thought.
Was it more difficult to find somebody who can play the tabla, or more difficult to find somebody who can play the didgeridoo?
Definitely the tabla, because our sound guy, or our live sound guy, Victor, is really good at didgeridoo. And there's another guest performer who did a lot of vocals as well on our first album. He's called Bram. And he also plays didgeridoo like crazy. So we already knew those people. And I think it's much easier to learn than tabla. It's an incredibly precise instrument to get it to sound exactly right. So yeah, it wasn't easy to find him, but we're happy with Heiko is his name.
Sounds really German.
yeah, Heiko.
There is something, and that's why I stressed this Indian part so much. And I'm glad that you referred to the African instruments, and also with the didgeridoo, the Australian, that you already incorporated on other tracks before. I mean, like, there has always been a kind of universal sound to Psychonaut. But I think with this record, you come as close to world music than you have ever come. That surely was not intentional. It just came about, right?
Yeah. I don't really know why. We always try new things on every album. We had a piano for the first time on the previous album. And also some guest performers, of course. But this time, yeah, we always have new ideas. We've used quite a lot of weird instruments in the past, but now we also use a Rhodes keyboard, or I guess it's is it technically a piano? I don't even know. On the title track, and yeah, just really fun to try things like that. It's not going to be possible. I mean, it is possible to do it live if we hire someone, I guess, but we kind of give ourselves 1 or 2 free passes on every album to write something like that we can't do with the 3 of us, but it's just good, and then we don't care about it. We're allowed to have 1 or 2.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you still have to have something for the 20-year anniversary that will be coming up sometime in the 2030s, you know, like where you can
exactly, yeah,
bring out all those people onto Roadburn stage and then.
Okay, that's a concrete plan. I like it.
I mean, like, we got to think big, right?
Yeah.
But not only instrument-wise is there something new on World Maker. There is also a certain stylistic change. I've just mentioned world music, but one could talk about many, many other things. The record is as jazzy as I've ever heard you guys. The record is at the same time working with a lot of open chords. There are passages which are nearly danceable. And here comes the thing you've already mentioned. It's a very positive record on the one hand, but I also know that there have been some very negative moments in the lives of you and Thomas. The record surely is something like a get through record, like a catharsis for all of you, right?
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't intended to be this dual thing. It was just supposed to be a really positive album about me becoming a father and writing about how amazing that was. But
Thomas was already a father when we recorded last, right?
Yeah. His first daughter was born right after Unfolded Godman, I think, in 2019. And his second daughter was born in 22, I think. Yeah. But it was my first kid, my son. David was born in January 2024, named after David Gilmour, of course. And I just wanted to write
better
an
than
album.
David Hasselhoff.
Sure. Sure. Well, I don't know about that.
Don't Hasselhoff.
Exactly. But it was, that was the plan. Just write a really beautiful album for my son, for, I guess, to leave something behind should anything happen to me. I wanted him to know what I think is the best possible music in the world that I can write. And that was it. And then lightning struck in, I guess it was March 23 when Thomas's father was diagnosed with cancer. And then in June, my dad got the same diagnosis. And unfortunately, both of them passed away fairly quickly in August and October. And when we got the news, the album was pretty much, let's say, 80% finished. So I didn't really feel like going in a completely new direction. I wanted to stick to my initial idea, but there's no way you can ignore something like that, especially since we decided to go all out on this personal emotion thing. And, that gets in the mix, and we had to deal with that as well. So musically, it's definitely in there, the kind of polarized feeling. Lyrically, slightly less. Didn't want to touch it too much. But the last 2 songs in particular are more in line with the situation of just saying goodbye to your dad, which is kind of odd when you are writing an album about how amazing it is to become a dad finally. Very, very weird. Yeah.
That's also something that struck me, because in a way, this record then also is like a transition record for you, going from son to father.
Yeah, that's right.
Had your fathers, yours and Thomas, ever the chance to hear some of the new tracks in a certain shape or form?
Yeah, the last song my dad heard was the title track of the album. There was a demo version, but
Mhm.
I did make him a YouTube bounce of like all the demos we had, and I sent it to him, but he was suffering too much to really take the time to listen to it in full. But he did hear that one, and that's kind of amazing that he still heard that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Thomas' father didn't, I think.
That's also in a way probably like a full circle moment, right? So that you can
Yeah,
say, okay, if I'm able to give this to dad, that means something for my own decision and not decision development. Um,
yeah.
very, very cool. Very, very cool. Because I mean, like, of course, for your son, never got to know his grandpa, but he has something to hold on to.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
is also something that I like because the record itself also has exactly those moments, the moments of euphoria versus rage. Um, Something that I didn't hear and that struck me because we here we're going through similar problems in 2023, and a feeling and emotion that I did not find on the record, and that is, I think, amazing. There is no fear.
Hmm.
I won't ask why not, because for obvious reasons. But did the record also help you to get through those moments, months?
Yeah, not just the dealing with my dad passing, but also just dealing with the ridiculous change in my life. Now becoming a dad and not sleeping and having no time to do anything. Just
Believe me, you won't sleep in the next 20 years.
yeah, I can imagine.
Mine
But
is
yeah,
going on 13, and I have like sleepless nights.
wow, 13, man. Wow, okay, yeah, that's a long way ahead. David is now a year and 1 month old, so can't imagine what that's gonna be like. But
Well,
it
you have a
definitely
son, we have a
helps. Yeah,
daughter. That's already something different. Um,
yeah.
I loved the way that you also put David himself on the record because basically there is one track that describes unborn David, Stargazer.
Yeah,
Do you first want to explain to everybody out there who doesn't know what a stargazer is, what it means?
it's a Dio song. No, it's,
Yeah, it's Black Sabbath
uh,
with Tony Martin.
yeah. Um, a baby is supposed to face to the back, I guess I should say. So like facing the woman's back
Yeah.
and also upside down. But a stargazer is a baby or a fetus that is facing the other way. So he's looking at the woman's belly or the stars, I assume. And
Yeah.
that's where the name stargazer comes from. And yeah, it's a word that I've known for a long time. It's a really beautiful word, and I didn't actually know that that was a real medical thing, or not a medical thing, but something doctors say. And
It's a medical term, probably.
yeah, I just liked it. Came up with was just singing gibberish and just sang that word, and like, okay, I guess that's a title then. And yeah,
And it turns out to be the longest track on the record.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. To be fair, there's one song we cut in half. Track,
Okay.
what is it, 4 and 5 or 3 and 4? You are the
Uh,
sky, everything else is just the weather. That was
Red is
written
three
as
and
one
four.
track.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, but we cut that at a point where we thought it would be cool to just split them and make it even
Yeah,
more
because
obvious.
11 minutes is also a pretty long track for Psychonaut measures.
Yeah, true. But yeah, Stargazer is definitely one of the longer ones and one I really like.
Something that struck me, and it's unfortunate that you are the only one here, but maybe you can also speak in a way for the others. You are more or less the main songwriter in Psychonaut. When you then come up with such personal ideas, such personal moments, what is usually the other's reaction?
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Yes. So you are normally the one who comes up with the ideas, and some of
Yeah.
your ideas, especially on this record, are very, very personal.
Yeah.
How do the others react
Oh,
when
I see.
you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Thomas could relate a lot to what I was writing.
Yeah, being in the
Um,
same position, right? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Harm doesn't have any children, and his parents
Yet,
are healthy. Yeah. Yeah.
yet,
Um,
and still, let's put it like that. Yes.
exactly. Yeah. But the thing is, I mean, I like that I am free, more or less, to think about a lot of things myself. I've always been the starting point, I guess, for a lot of ideas, and I like that. And they just respected that I wanted to do this, and obviously Thomas thought it was great too,
Mhm.
and he could contribute in that way as well. And Harm just said, "Yeah, you should write about the things that you are thinking about most, and the things that are most impactful in your life."
Mhm.
And that's what we've always done. It's the same with Unfold the Godman and with Violate. It's a kind of a summary of what we were talking about and thinking about in that period. So this is pretty much the same, even though it's much more personal, as you said. Yeah.
Interesting is also that mm, you are using lyrically, you are using a few ideas more frequently, and one of them is the word endless,
Hmm.
because it's in two of the track titles. It's endless currents and endless erosions.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, with current, it can, as current has like two meanings, that already is one of those dichotomies. It's like, as you said, fatherhood versus sonhood,
Hmm.
rage versus euphoria. And all of a sudden you use endless versus currents and erosion.
Hmm.
That is not a coincidence, right? That is planned.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Can you explain that? Why is endless such an important word for this record?
It's a spiritual thing, I
Hmm.
guess. The currents mean that, we're kind of subject to a lot of things we can't change.
Hmm.
I don't really know if I still believe in free will. I think it's a very interesting topic, but I might be convinced by now that it's just a program, an illusion. I don't know. I might change my mind again in a week,
Shout
but
out to the
it's
rulers of a matrix.
exactly. So that's that whole thing. Life is happening, and it's happening through you, and it's happening within you, without you, like the Beatles said. So that's what it means to me. It's just being part of this endless thing that is happening. I don't think life ever ends. I don't think it can go away or be created. I think all the life that's ever, all the life that will ever be there has always been there. I think it's just coming back in different forms.
Mhm.
But at the same time, the erosion part means that, yeah, this particular experience is going to end for everyone at some point. We're all flawed, and we decay, and yeah, that's the erosion
Loose
part.
hair.
And exactly, yeah, go gray, and yeah, I mean, that's it, right? And disease, of course, disease is there. That's also life.
Mhm.
It's something that apparently needs to exist, or at least exists as well. Has to have us, can't survive without us. So yeah,
Mhm.
very weird. And that's that dual thing that I wanted to portray with the endless thing.
And then there are also two other lines in two different songs that I would like to talk about. One is in the title track in World Maker. You use the line discover the world with eyes wide. That is something that you want to say tell your son, right? Like look around you.
Yeah, exactly. And just don't lose that. Don't lose those wide eyes. Don't just, I don't know, don't go numb from screens and I don't know, whatever people tell you, and try to always have that childlike wonder. I'm sure it's gonna go away like it does for most people, but I want him to hold on to it as long as he possibly can. I'm going to try to encourage that and hopefully learn from it myself,
I
because I
want
think, yeah, it's incredibly. valuable to discover things for yourself.
Yeah. Something that I can add to that. I know I always like to talk too much, but I think that is something that a lot of people should try. A few weeks ago, I revisited the city of Prague with a lot of students, and the first evening, the students had some free time. My colleague and I had some free time, and I've been to Prague numerous times. And we walk through the streets, and I literally tell my colleague, like, okay, now I know why I am always shockingly in love with the city whenever I come back, because even though I've been there so often, it's still amazing to me also, and that is something that concurs with what you said. Always to keep my eyes open, look at the things. Even though I've seen them a million times, even the million and first time can be amazing and give you something else. And I think that is something that we forget too quickly. You know, like no matter how much we've experienced a certain thing, a certain city, a certain song, you can always find something else. Always find something new.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Do you remember when that happened to you the last time, that you've seen something that you have seen for years, for decades, and rediscovered it? Maybe also musically.
Yeah, quite often. It's these weird moments where we had a show last weekend with my other band, Hippo Tractor, and it was actually not really a moment of mine. Our guitarist, Kiaran, just said after the show, like, do you remember when we were just sitting backstage and those two guys were playing a board game and you were correcting some tests and these guys were just having a nap and whatever? And he told me, like, that was a moment when I realized, wow, life is so amazing. Nobody's doing anything particularly special, but just look at how beautiful this is. We're all together and everyone's doing something and we're part of something. That's something I have a lot when we're touring. Just try to always remember how lucky we are. I know we work hard, but every band works hard, and most bands never get the chance to do what we do, even though they might be just as good or even better. There's a luck factor involved, and so while touring, I have that very, very often.
Yeah, imagine Pelagic hadn't heard Unfold Forgotten Man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that could have changed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second line that I want to talk about is in Endless Currents, where you say, lead the way, soar, everlong. That is for your dad, right?
Kind of both, but it's so weird that I sometimes don't even remember who I was actually singing to, because it works both ways. It's so weird. Even the lyrics I wrote specifically for my son just completely make sense. If you project them in the other way, it's weird, yeah. But it's the same thing. Lead the way. It's also advice for me. I'm a father now. I have to be a role model, and that's pretty crazy.
Hard.
But, yeah, I can imagine. I'm
not using cuss words. My goodness.
Exactly.
I mean, like as I said, now she's turning 13. Now I can swear whenever I want to. She knows.
Oh yeah, it's over good. Yeah.
for the first 10 or 11 years, my wife was always like, "Dawson."
Yeah. But yeah, lead the way. It's also something I'm telling him. Like, you tell me what you want to do. Tell me how you want to experience this, and I will try to make everything as good as I can make it for you.
Yeah. The nerd in me immediately also had two more associations with that line. Can you guess which one?
The nerd in you. You think? Has to be
one is
thing,
obvious.
Right?
One is a little more obvious, and the second one is very nerdy.
Not
Lead
sure.
the way, soar, everlong. Foo Fighters. Do they pay you?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But that was a cool moment, because I think it could probably only be the second time that I ever heard that word in a track.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. I often have words like that where I just have a number of syllables, and I just have to find a word in the English language that has exactly that amount of syllables, and there's usually like a few I can choose from. And yeah, then you sometimes get a word like that.
And for the really nerdy ones, Soar is the record title of one of my favorite San Francisco punk bands, Semi-Am. So that
Don't
was.
know.
Yeah,
Cool.
you don't have to, being old, looking like this, like.
Yeah.
I think Soar is either late 80s, early 90s. It's a
Yeah.
cool record, but nobody knows. But the Everlong, the Foo Fighters thing, that was like bam.
Yeah.
Something that struck me when I thought about the record: are you a glass half full or a glass half empty kind of guy?
Generally, the first one, or at least I try to be. But there are worse periods, like last year, of course, where I can get lost in the bottom of the glass and have trouble getting out of it. But yeah.
And for everybody out there, whenever you feel as if the glass is full and you're drowning, because there are moments in our lives, and I completely agree with Stefan. Talk to people, and if it's only your loved ones, but talk.
Exactly, and just do something fun and do something physical. Do something creative just for the sake of creating. Write shitty music, whatever, it doesn't matter. The process counts,
but shitty music doesn't come out in Psychonaut. You have to try that one.
We just don't release it.
Okay, and you have a good filter.
Yeah, that's on the hard drives right here.
Something that also helps, and I'm very sure you had that as well, is the circle of friends, the community around you. How much community do you recognize on World Maker?
Yeah, so much. It's the whole Mechelen scene, I can't be. I mean, I'm so grateful to just be a part of all these amazing humans. Everyone works together. All these bands have been friends for 15 to 20 years. There's always collaborations going on. Our albums would sound nothing like they do without Kieran. Our artwork wouldn't be what it is without Sam. Michael from Pothamus has directed videos for us. It's Matti, the drummer from Pothamus, even sang in the choir as well. It's a spider web of collaborations, and it's been. And another thing I have in common with Matthias from Pothamus is that he also lost his dad a long time ago, and I talked to him about it as well, and that was also really good to help process things and Michael as well, unfortunately lost his father recently.
Yeah, there is something to that. I will give you from like my own community thing. There is one moment when I think it is like 2 years ago when I was talking to my friend Ralph from Ulta from Germany, from Cologne, a black metal band. And I told him about, how hard it was and everything. And he said, yeah, don't worry. We are now in the period where we lose our loved ones.
Yeah.
And then he said, but don't worry, in a few years, you'll be in the next period. And I looked at him and I was like, okay, what is it? And now I'll tell you the same thing that he told me. He said, the next period is grandfatherhood.
Yeah. True.
I'm closer to that one than you.
Yeah, that's true. I still have some time.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? This is the beginning of a certain period, and it's shit. We've been witnessing this. I think there is a period in between. In between is the period that is hardest. I think the period in between is when you lose your friends, people your age. I think that is another one of those. But let's not be pessimistic, because there is something that I really like about the record, and that is I think that is the most difficult thing, because the record is very light, positive, and it still has enough oomph, enough aggression in it. How difficult was that for you to balance it out? Because it's not really a balance. It's like the bright part is a little higher than the other. How difficult was that for you?
It's not difficult. It's something that just happens, I guess. Depends on the themes we were writing about. Depends on how we're feeling. There's one thing that I thought was very hard to balance on this album, and that was for the vocals, the balance between how much I would sing and Thomas would sing. Because it's not like we ever calculate we have to sing exactly 50%, both of us. But with this album, somehow it ended up with me singing a lot more clean parts than Thomas, which is fine, you know. But we did realize that when the album was almost done, and we kind of got a little worried. Like, is this too much? Or we might not be showing our best cards, but because your voice is not here on these songs, and then I guess fewer.
Whoever wants to hear him just has to listen to Zwarte List, right?
Yeah, true. That's true. But yeah, that was a weird thing. I guess when we write softer or more intimate music, my voice fits better. Thomas is just an amazing soaring vocalist who has to go high and go hard, and that's really his specialty. I could never do that.
Yeah, but
I'm more
come on.
the narrative
Imagine you have a light part, and then he's like screaming his lungs out.
Yeah, true.
And you also had guest vocals on the record, didn't you?
We did, yeah. We did a collaboration with a singer who I've loved for a long time, and her name is Ante Huibrechts. She is not that well known, but she was part of a project that I was a part of once too. That was Kieran's project. At one point it was called Hillian Creek. Really cool cinematic project. We only did a handful of concerts, and those were really concerts, you know, just they weren't gigs. They were like massive productions with visuals and everything. And that's where I met her, and that's also where I met our drummer, Harm, by the way. And I loved her voice so much. And during COVID, we wrote another album together. And I just knew that one day this would have to happen. She really has to do one song with us one day. And eventually she sang 2 or even 3, if you count the 2-part song. And just completely blown away. I knew that she could sing in a beautiful angel-like falsetto voice, and I was going to ask her for that. But then we were doing the outro for Everything Else Is Just the Weather. And everything was done, and she nailed it. Took like an hour. It was crazy. She's a really good singer. And then we had half an hour left, so I told her, you know, now it's time to try something crazy. I want to see what you can do with your voice that maybe you don't even know yourself. So just said some things like, have you tried doing something like screaming, or maybe worrying less about technique and just going all out? And she said, okay, I'll do something. And first things that came out were like, okay, this might be something, but let's keep going. And then I think one of us suggested, like, what if you take this vocal part that you already have and just sing it an octave higher? And it was already crazy high. And she said, well, I've never tried that, but let's see what we can do. And that's when this female Viking voice came out, and that was it. Yeah, that was perfect. First or second take, that was it. And she has a haunting voice. She's very into the music. I really believe her when she's singing. And that's, yeah, very happy to have her on the album.
Yeah, very, I think I'm repeating myself over and over again, but the record is, I mean, it's still Psychonaut. It's still audibly the three of you. No question about that. But I think because the record is in a way very different, because of that, I think it also marks a very, very clear point in your career. Could be a watershed this way or that way. But whichever way you go, it's a good one.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. Before I get too sentimental and before this all ends up in tears, we'll go for the infamous quickfire round at the end. I will try to tease my life lesson a little bit more. It's taken from a vampire.
Awesome.
So, for this quickfire round, I thought about looking into your label roster and also into the bands that you've been touring with, or the bands that are very often associated with you. So let's go through the touring bands first. You toured with Amenra. If you had to decide to go to an Amenra concert, or you shared the stage with them, if you went to an Amenra concert right now, would you rather prefer the full pedal to the metal set or the acoustic intimacy right now?
I'll go with the heavy one. I've seen both shows, but yeah, the real deal, I guess, or the original one is, yeah, that's what does most for me.
Mm-hmm. If I got it correctly, you also shared the stage with PG Lost.
Yeah.
So I'll give you two of their records. In Never Out versus Key.
Oh, I want to say Oscillate. I love that.
No, that is not part of the question.
First one.
In Never Out? Okay.
Yeah.
The Ocean. Who, by the way, I'm very, very excited to hear what will come next. But The Ocean.
Yeah.
Pelagic versus Holocene.
Oh, that sucks.
I know.
Pelagic. Has to be. Yeah. I can't ignore all these years.
But you do know why I chose Holocene, right? Because there is something in the new record that connects to Holocene.
I know. And I think the Phanerozoics and Holocene have the best vocals they've ever done. I love those records so much. But my favorite one is Heliocentric. That was the first one I ever heard. But Pelagic, yeah, has to. That's like their Master of Puppets, right? It's the album you should listen to if you want to discover the ocean. It's their Lateralis, I would say.
That is difficult. That is difficult because you know how it is. Usually the first or second record that you hear by a song is the one that sticks the most.
Yeah.
And therefore, for me, it will always be Precambrian.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, that was the second record that I heard them with. That was the first time I've seen them live out of nearly 24 by now.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I've seen every tour since that one.
Really? Oh, crazy.
Yep. Proud of that one as well. And I have to say, when I listen to Holocene, it still doesn't kick me, but seeing it live, which I had the fortune last year, not completely, but a lot of the Holocene tracks, and all of a sudden they work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Atlantic is top 3 of their best songs ever for me. Atlantic from Holocene. Best vocal ever, best build, best vibe. Yeah.
And I have to say, as much as it bothers me to know that 3 of the guys have now left, I'm still very excited what comes next. But as I said, before we get too sentimental, there are other bands that have been associated with Psychonaut over the years for various reasons. Let's start off with your label mates, Hypnose, Hypno 5E from France. I'll give you 2 of their records. Alba, one of the older ones, versus Sheol or Shoal. I don't know how they want to pronounce that.
Yeah, I'll go with Shoal. I have to admit I'm not that familiar with them as well. And it's a band that I've been looking forward to seeing live for years. Because I know that's going to do something for me. It's like you said, it's something you just want to experience live. But they are an awesome band. I should listen to them more frequently.
Then Gojira. I don't know why, but there is something Gojira-esque in Psychonaut. I'll give you 2 of their records. Magma versus Terra Incognita.
Well, it's so... yeah, my favorite is L'Enfant Sauvage. I know. Let's do Magma because it's the album that a lot of people I know discovered them with, and I loved it when it came out too. Hearing Silvera for the first time was crazy. Yeah, let's go with Magma.
I'm not going to say which band is next because I got two different couples. And I first want you to tell me whether you want the older couple or the more recent couple.
Okay.
So which one would you, I'm not going to say which band. So you first have to just say the older one or the more recent one.
Let's do the older one.
Okay. And it's Mastodon. It's Crack the Sky versus Blood Mountain.
Definitely Crack the Sky. Easy.
Then something, a band which might have the best drummer in all of post-metal. And that is Russian Circles. Station versus Enter.
Oh, it's been a while since I saw them last year. They were so good. I don't think I can separate between the two. Even I don't know if I remember specific
because
songs.
they're so close to each other.
Yeah, I have to pass on that one. But I saw them and I remember thinking and just watching with the whole band at Alcatraz Festival, and all of us said one thing: this is the best light show I've ever seen. That's something, and I think the light engineer was using a keyboard and just triggering everything on a keyboard. It was fascinating to watch. Yeah.
I have too many. I have seen too many good live shows.
Yeah.
I love Russian Circles and I love them live, but when it comes to light, I mean, I've seen Parkway Drive spinning their drummer, not this way, but that way.
Yeah.
Or Neurosis back when they didn't have that short period when they took off the visuals and before they ended.
Yeah.
That was too many. Cult of Luna, and that's nearly the last musical one. Cult of Luna. Beyond versus Mariner.
Mariner. Yeah. Awesome album.
The old question, which for me is very easy to answer, but I know that there are people who struggle with it. Beatles versus Stones.
Easy, Beatles.
Yes.
Obviously. Love the Stones.
But they're playing the same, they're like AC/DC. They're playing the same song 20 million times.
Yeah. You said it, not me.
I will defend that everywhere anyway. And I think I asked the Pothamus guys the same question. And I'm very interested if you will choose the same way. Royal Antwerp versus the KV Mechelen.
I don't care about football. Let's say KV Mechelen.
They also said Mechelen.
Yeah, their drummer is a big football fan. Yeah.
He looked at me as if I was asking him between murder and survival, you know.
Yeah.
How can you even ask that?
His favorite team is Bruges. So yeah, that must have hurt for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Stefan, thanks for all the detailed answers. Thanks for the openness. And thanks once again for a wonderful record. Everybody, in a few days, on Friday, after this is out, the Friday afterwards, so in a few days for you, you can listen to Worldmaker. If you don't do it, if you do it, enjoy. If you do it, you will. Stefan, thanks for your time. Your chance for final last words.
Oh man, thank you for having me. I enjoyed talking to you a lot. I think you are one of the most informed interviewers I talk to. You really know your stuff, and yeah, that's awesome. And
don't mention the $100 that I sent you next week.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. And to everyone who wants to come to a live show, yeah, we have 5 release shows coming up. We're doing Berlin, Amsterdam, Paris, London, and Brussels. That's going to be
you forgot Frankfurt. 5. Thank you.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be crazy. Playing a really long set, playing a lot of new songs. Looking forward to that. So yeah, maybe hope to see you there, and if not, then we'll be there next year. Hopefully close to you.
Yeah, well, I'll catch you guys around. And I can only emphasize what Stefan said. Go see their shows. It's only 3 guys, but my goodness. So, Stefan, enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh, wait,
Thank you,
I
Kirsten.
forgot. I forgot. My
Oh yeah, the life lesson.
lesson.
Finally.
Taken from Anne Rice's The Servant of the Bones.
Okay.
And it's a sentence that I think describes life best. The purpose of life is to love and to increase our knowledge of the intricacies of creation.
Yeah, sounds good. I like that one.
So enjoy your rest of the evening, my friend.
Thank you, Kirsten.